first days of July, we packed our car and left our home to drive up north more than 1,000 kilometers. We traveled up to Norway through Denmark, and even though we spent a lot of hours on the road, we deeply enjoyed the first days of our holiday in this country. Where we live, open water is rare. Some little streams and a lake that is 30 minutes away. But here in Denmark, the sea is always close, and the hundreds and thousands of small rocks and stones invited me to practice my balancing skills with my mind and my hands. We began our trip under the waxing moon and knew we would still be in this beautiful part of the world at full moon. The sight of the moon calms me down. He is in constant change, going through phases just like me, but he is always there. Always. We planned to reach Norway by ferry, what meant we traveled through the northwest of Denmark. Rain and an approaching storm welcomed us to the Skagerrak, the ocean between Denmark, Norway and Sweden. The ocean, endless waves and a sky full of clouds so vast that one almost cannot oversee all that raw beauty. Rain and sun alternated constantly this day, and after some grey hours the sky cleared a bit. I was lucky to witness an incredibly beautiful sunset. The clouds parted for an orange sun that sank into a wild ocean. The light was breathtaking as the last rays of sunlight were refracted in the white caps of the waves. After a while the rain came back and I fled back into our tent, which now felt like a cozy cave for us three in such a stormy night. The next morning, the wind had calmed down a bit and the sun was shining brightly. A good day to go down the dunes and let our son see the ocean for the very first time in his young life. The waves were still wild, and we had a lot of fun to play at the shore. We looked for things the sea had washed up, like shells, stones and seaweed, just to see them being taken away by the waves again. We crossed the Skagerrak by ferry and drove into the belly of this steel whale, waiting for the ship to leave the harbor. The seagulls were super happy that the ship stirred up the harbor basin. We even saw a seagull fly by with a big starfish in its beak. It didn't take long for our son to fall asleep on the sea stays and the sound of the wind. Imagine waking up and seeing a lighthouse, something you've only seen in books so far. It must have been an impressive day for him, and this was only the beginning. Norway. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm so glad to see you again. I missed your long roads leading through endless mountain ranges, and I was longing for the view of your waterfalls showing that water can dance freely. We drove through the south of Norway, heading to a specific campground. Some years ago we found this place and fell in love. We set up our tent on a small peninsula on the river, right next to the riverbank, where we could sit with our son to watch him being super happy to throw stones into the water. From the campground, a path led into a small but still mystical forest. The ground was full of blueberry bushes and tiny white flowers, and the trees and branches were covered with these contrastful lichens. I knew I need to have a closer look on it later. We followed the river where next to the path grew rosebay willow herb, the pink symbol of summer. The river with its big rocks together with the tall trees and the mountains and waterfalls in the background created a landscape that was so remarkable and so beautiful. Norway, we have arrived. I went back to the forest the next morning. A mushroom greeted me at the entrance, the first one I've seen this season. I walked deeper into the forest, and this spider realized that she wasn't alone anymore, stopped moving, and tried to hide. Well, not very successfully. It is a beautiful forest. The light shines through the trees and there's green everywhere. And even though it is not big, I still felt like I was completely on my own, which was wonderful. While I was looking closer at the lichens on the branches, a key suddenly appeared in front of my eyes. Rusty, but with some shiny spots, it must have been hanging there for a very long time. Did somebody lose it and another wanderer hung it up so it could be found? Or is it waiting to be picked up, put into the right lock, leading to another world? I'll leave that to your imagination. To let our sun calm down for bedtime, while the sun had still not set, we took a walk through the forest. Grounded by the air that was filled with terpenes from the trees, which lower stress hormones and blood pressure, this walk was just perfect for reviewing the day and then drifting off to sleep afterwards. The night and day rhythm of our sun had shifted a bit because of the late sunset, but after a while we all arranged with that and made ourselves some cozy evenings in our tent with books and cuddles. During the day it was warm enough to dare a bath in the cold river. The waterfalls that flow into it come from glaciers and snowfields on the mountaintops. When we got on the road again, we drove through the impressive landscape of southern Norway, but we only saw the foothills of the higher mountain ranges as we headed east, not west. But we didn't feel like missing anything, because we took a break next to this. A waterfall that just popped up next to us without being marked on our road map at all. Even though it would have been simple to walk up the waterfall, we stayed at the bottom of this raw beauty, everyone taking a break for himself, like playing with water and stones, or stepping on the rocks to breathe in nature. I love Norway because of so much wild nature being everywhere you look. Driving east, we came across two Stave churches. This one is from the middle of the 13th century. It is the darkest Stave church I have ever seen. The wood must have been tarred recently to protect what may be 700 years old. The black shingles make the church very remarkable, as it is also located on a hill above the village. Something that accompanied us through Norway was the lupin. Blue, violet, rose, white and lilac, those were the colors of these beautiful flowers. I tried to grow the lupin in our garden for years, but it never grows. But look! It's everywhere here in the roads. This is amazing. The Hedal Stave Church, Norway's largest Stave church, was also constructed more than 700 years ago. We didn't feel the need to see the church from inside. Instead, we sat outside and took a closer look. And our patience paid off. A family of barn swallows was living in one of the gables. We saw the parents flying around and feeding their kids constantly. What a lovely sight of this gorgeous building. Thank you all so much for watching. We would be happy if you share this video and leave a comment below. Thank you.